Today, I'm sharing 7 rules I follow when it comes to my task management. Stay until the end for a surprisingly powerful bonus tip that will help a lot with to-do list overwhelm. Write tasks down immediately. This happens to me all the time. I'm taking out the trash, walking the dog, playing with the kids, or whatever, and a to-do pops into my head. Something like, call the electrician to fix wall plug. Do not tell yourself you'll keep it in mind and get to it later. I promise you won't. Your mind will already have moved on to the next thing. Write down the task in your task manager as soon as you notice it. Part of this is making capturing it as easy as possible using your mobile device or your smartwatch. Here's how I do it in Things. All my tasks quickly captured land in my inbox. The 2-minute rule. I've just told you that you should write down to-dos immediately when you think of them, but not all tasks are created equal. If something takes less than about 2 minutes to do, I'll just do the task right away instead of adding it to my to-do list. This is known as the 2-minute rule, coined by David Allen in his bestseller, Getting Things Done. By following the 2-minute rule, you keep small things from accumulating on your to-do list, leaving room for the bigger, more important tasks. And it creates a kind of momentum and a small win to get something out of the way quickly. Rule number 3, focus on the next physical action. How you phrase a task on your to-do list surprisingly increases or decreases the likelihood that you get it done. It helps to use action verbs like write or schedule or send, look up, find, call, so the next step is super clear and specific. You want to avoid vague words like think about, consider, research, review, or figure out. Rule number 4, add all relevant information to the task. All your tasks should have all the critical or relevant pieces of information required to complete them right there in the task itself. In Things, every task has this little notes area where I add details such as a link I need to follow, a phone number I need to call, an email address that I need to message, or any notes that I'll need. To give you an example, if my task is to reply to an email, then I'll put the link to that exact email in the task so I can bring it up in an instant instead of having to go through my inbox searching around for it. Rule number 5, no read, watch, or listen. Earlier, I told you to use action verbs when you write down your to-dos. So what about the things that you want to read or watch or listen to? Those are action verbs too, right? They are, but content you want to consume, such as articles, newsletters, videos, podcasts, do not belong on your to-do list. There's so much of it coming at you all the time, and none of it is really that important, which just means that these kinds of consumption tasks will usually just drown out the truly important priorities. I follow a rule for myself that all content goes directly to my Read Later app, so it doesn't clutter up my to-do list. I use Reader by Readwise. I view all content consumption as completely optional. It's something I might get to, and I might get to it eventually. And if I don't, then it's no big deal. Rule number 6, pick 3 important tasks per day. As your task manager fills up with to-dos, overwhelm often starts to creep in for most people. I can't think of a better way to crush all sense of motivation and hope than looking every day at a huge list of tasks that you'll never ever be able to get to the end of. So my rule is that I always pick a maximum of 3 tasks from my full list in the morning, which I plan on getting done that day. That really helps me focus only on what is both feasible and realistic for the day. Rule number 7, go with your energy. I know that I have the most energy in the mornings, so mornings are always reserved for deep work, the tasks that require the most concentration and focus. I really try my best to not schedule calls or meetings during that time that would interrupt my flow. On the other hand, I try to reserve light, easy tasks for the afternoon when my energy is lower anyway. If you want to get fancy, you could even tag your tasks for low or high energy in your task manager so you can filter for tasks that match your energy levels. In the beginning, I promised you a bonus tip. Here it goes. Like many people, you might feel a sense of obligation to your to-do list. When you write a task down, you must get it done. And if you don't, you feel guilty about it. Here's my mindset on this, which might surprise you. I assume by default, I won't do a given task. The average task that enters my task manager app will never get done. And that's not only okay, it's the ideal situation. It means that I considered an option for how to spend my precious time and attention, and I disregarded it in favor of a better one. I really feel no sense of commitment or attachment or responsibility to any task until the moment it makes it all the way to my today list, the 3 tasks that I choose to take on today. I invite you now to just let go of any sense of guilt or shame you have about not getting to the end of your to-do list for good. Life is short. I promise you won't look back on your deathbed and wish that you got more tasks done. A task manager is only one of the apps that I consider the pillars of modern productivity, the essential digital tools I recommend everyone adopt. Together, these pillars form a system for your productivity that takes all incoming information and feeds it to the right places. Places that are so much better at keeping track of them than your brain could ever be. Creating a system for productivity was one of the most profoundly impactful things I ever did for myself. It's given me this deep reservoir of confidence that I can handle whatever life throws at me. If you'd like to create such a system for yourself, I invite you to join our course, Pillars of Productivity. I promise it will change your life.